The past couple days I've been here in Quebec for AJAC's Eco Run, giving us an opportunity to drive a number of electric, plug-in hybrid, and hybrid vehicles back to back to give us a good taste of what Canadians have on the market. One of the vehicles I haven't had a chance to drive up until now is this 2024 Genesis G80 Electrified. It's the mid-size sedan that we've driven before, just as a fully electric vehicle. So I'm going to be taking this on the road, giving you a first drive impression of this car and telling you what you need to know if you're in the market for a luxury mid-size sedan that just happens to be fully electric. So we're behind the wheel now of the electrified Genesis G80, and we've talked about this type of vehicle before because James had the chance to feature the Genesis GV70 electrified actually twice now, both the 23 and 24 model years within the last 6 months or so. So he's had a lot of experience with these vehicles. I drove the GV60, which comes exclusively as an electric, and I drove the G80 years ago. I just haven't driven it as the electric. So essentially what this is a regular G80 that happens to have electric motors in it. That makes sense, right? If you're looking for a relatively cost-effective way as an OEM to offer more options to consumers, take an existing vehicle and electrify it. That's what Genesis has done. So the first thing I noted though when I got into this, especially after driving the BMW i5 not too long ago, is the egress and ingress into the vehicles a little tougher. So the BMW was a lot easier to get into. I think it was just the way the roofline is. This vehicle is quite a bit more, I guess, aerodynamic in the sense, I don't have quite as much vertical space to get into the vehicle. That's the only downside to this. So for me, it's just slightly tough getting in and out of the vehicle, but it's comfortable once I'm in here. And I get it. I'm a big guy. I'm not, a standard size, but I am 6 foot tall. So what can I tell you about this vehicle that we didn't really talk about before? There's not much realistically, right? If you're interested to know about all the features and tech that come on the G80, take a look at the ICE video that we did. If you're really curious to know exactly how this vehicle performs as an electric, then we've also done the GV70. So combine those two, I'll give you my thoughts on it. Ride is really smooth, vehicle is quiet enough. We've got all the features that you would get at this price point. Heated ventilated front seats, tri-zone climate control. We do have an EV mode for the air conditioning, so I'm currently in EV mode, so it's just putting the air towards me, which is good. I'm trying to save fuel, save energy in this particular case, so I want to have less use as possible. I've got the 14.3-inch infotainment system, which looks great. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and all that. Everything works well. I'm using Apple CarPlay just because I need to know where I'm going, but normally I just use the built-in navigation. It's actually really good. And then we do have the 3D digital gauge cluster. It's kind of fun. If you haven't seen it before, you really do need to physically see it in order to appreciate it, but yeah, it works. I think I would prefer not having it on, but aside from that though, you've got all the other kind of bells and whistles you'd want at this price point. We do have a head-up display. We've got sunshades in the back for your rear passengers, but there's not a ton of space back there. I happen to have the opportunity to drive the Lucid Air Pure, which is behind me. You might not see it on camera, but it's being driven behind me right now. I had a chance to drive that yesterday, and while they are technically in the same size segment, they're both mid-size electric luxury sedans, the Lucid had what I felt was way more room, and that's because that was a purpose-built EV from the ground up designed to be an electric vehicle, whereas the Genesis G80 is, has to adapt to both an electric powertrain as well as a gas one. So you're kind of, it depends on what you want out of a vehicle, right? If you want the most out of an electric, then you might want to look at some other options. But we're sitting at half battery, just around there, and it says that we've still got about 302 kilometers. So obviously it comes down to how you drive, but this does pretty well. The Lucid I found was just a little bit better when it comes to fuel efficiency. And then you've got things like the BMW i5, that particular one that we had was a much more performance-oriented model. That was a lot of fun to drive around, and I had a blast doing it. So the great thing about today's market when it comes to these electrics is we've got so much choice. So maybe you want the performance one, go with the BMW. Maybe you want even more range and a much more efficient vehicle, go with the Lucid. Maybe you're not too worried about all that. You just want something that's comfortable and looks good and doesn't necessarily have to stand out. Then the Genesis could be a good option for you also. But overall, there's not much to complain about it. I do wish the interior had a little bit more space for a guy like me, just a little easier to get in and out of. This is a deal killer as far as I'm concerned. Just because I can't fit into the vehicle too easily, I just can't consider it. I have to be comfortable when I'm getting in and out. I don't want to look like a Sasquatch doing it, and unfortunately I kind of do. So it's the only reason I really wouldn't be considering this, but everything else about the electrified G80 has been great so far. So like I said, we've done a number of different Genesis electric vehicles over the years. You can check those videos out. We'll have some links throughout the video as well as at the end. But we will hopefully be able to get some more newer vehicles from Genesis. They've announced some facelifts, and you know, the new G80 Coupe is coming out, so we're hoping to get that. So if you have questions about this vehicle, please leave a comment below. We always get back to our commenters, and if you have specific questions about this vehicle, I'll do my best to answer them. We also ask you to thumbs up the video if you liked it. Consider sharing it online, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then you can also do so as well, as we're on our way now to 100,000 subscribers. We'd like to hit that. It's going to be pretty awesome when we do. But that's it for me. This is the last vehicle review we're doing here in Quebec until I head back. So it's been a real blast. I've enjoyed my time here, and thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.